Hello, and welcome to Section 5. In this section, we'll talk about tables and fields and how they are used within ServiceNow. We'll start by giving an overview of database tables. Each ServiceNow instance has over 2,000 out-of-the-box tables. The majority of these tables relate directly to the applications inside of ServiceNow. Each application has one or more tables. For example, there is an incident table for the incident application, and there are hundreds of CMDB tables for the CMDB application. Tables can extend other tables as well. We'll discuss the table extensions here in a bit. There is also a naming convention used for the tables in ServiceNow. All table names are lowercase and use underscores instead of spaces. However, tables have human-readable labels, which may contain capitalization and spaces. With an admin role, we can create and modify tables. In the diagram below, we see two tables, the incident table and the user table. The user table's system name is sys_user. Most of the tables that relate to information about the instance, such as users, groups, and roles, start with sys_. Each table in the database also contains many fields. Here we have the caller, number, and priority fields that are a part of the incident table, while the user table has three different fields: phone, first name, and last name. Now let's quickly discuss the relationships between databases, tables, and fields. A database contains many tables. As previously mentioned, the database used in a ServiceNow instance has over 2,000 tables. A table contains many fields. For example, the incident table in ServiceNow contains close to 100 fields, such as the caller, short description, and priority fields. Records are stored in tables. Each time you create a new incident record is being created. Here we have a screenshot of a list of incidents. Each column here represents a field in the incident table, and each row represents a record stored in the incident table. Now we'll go over some of the most common tables and their names in ServiceNow. It's important to note that there are thousands of tables in ServiceNow, so it's not realistic to cover them all, nor are you required to memorize them all for the exam. We have the task table, which is the parent table for a number of tables, such as the incident table, problem table, and change request table. The task table stores common information, such as a number field, short description field, assigned to field, and assignment group field. All of these fields are inherited in the tables that extend the task table. We'll talk more about this here in a bit. We have the sysuser table, which is where the users are stored, the sysuser group table, where the groups are stored, and the sysuser role table, which stores the roles for the system. We have knowledge base tables, such as the KB knowledge table, which stores different knowledge base articles. We have service catalog tables, such as the SC catalog table, which stores the different service catalogs in the system. And finally, we have hundreds of CMDB tables, such as the parent CMDB CI table, which stores common information among all CMDB tables. Finally, we'll discuss the data dictionary tables. When we make modifications to a table or field, where exactly are these changes being stored? Well, in a database table. The data dictionary tables contain metadata about the tables and fields in ServiceNow. Each record in the sysdb object table correlates to a table in ServiceNow and contains information about the table. Each record in the sys dictionary table correlates to an individual field on a specific table. Finally, the sys documentation table contains human-readable attributes for each table, such as the table labels. So the incident table has a record in the sysdb object table, and the caller field on the incident table has a record on the sys dictionary table. As an example, say if we had 10 tables and each table had 10 fields, we would have 10 records in the sysdb object table and roughly 10 tables times 10 fields per table, so 100 records in the sys dictionary table. Below we can see the sys dictionary record for the category field on the incident table. This record contains information about the individual field, such as the type, column name, and whether this field is audited. These three tables contain table and field metadata which make up the data dictionary tables. Now let's take a quick look at tables and configurations in ServiceNow. Before we begin our discussion on configuring tables, I'd like to talk about a quick and easy way to navigate to a table within ServiceNow. If you know the name of a table, that is the system name as opposed to the label, then you can access the list view of that table by typing in the name of the table and adding a .list to the end in the application navigator. This will take you to a list view of all records in the table without any filters applied. This can be very useful once you become more familiar with the system and start to memorize the table names. You can also add a .do to access a new record form on that table. For example, we'll first go to the incident list view, and then the form view of an incident. I'll use this method for quickly accessing tables throughout the rest of this course. So now that we have that out of the way, we'll move into table configurations. Anytime you are in a list or form view of a table, you can click the Form context menu or the List column context menu and navigate to Configure, Table to view the table page. This table page is actually the form view of the incident table record within the sysdb object table. Again, this table page is actually the form view of the incident table record within the sysdb object table. So if we were to navigate to the sysdb object table, filter by table name of incident, and go into this record, this page is the exact same page we were just in. It's important to note that the label for the sysdb object table is in fact the word table, which is shown here. This is one of the three data dictionary tables. This page shows us a number of configurations that are a part of the incident table. We can see the label of the table, the name of the table, which is being used for scripting and administrative purposes. In this case, they are the same except for the capitalization at the beginning. We can see this table extends the task table and has an application scope of global. Under the columns section, we see a list of all fields that are a part of the incident table. we can see there are 85 fields on the incident table. The list view shows us the column label or field label, the field type. If it's a reference, it shows us the reference table, the field's max length, a default value if defined, and a true-false display field, which we will talk about in the next video. If we click on the information icon on a field, we'll be taken into the field's dictionary entry, which is a record in the sys dictionary table. This will show us the entire configuration for this one field in the incident table. We'll cover these fields in the next video. Now let's discuss the related links. The related links section provides a number of very convenient links to pages related to the incident table. Here we see that we can go directly to the design form page, the layout form, or layout list pages. We can show the form or list. We can also access the schema map, which we'll talk about in the following videos. And we can add to Service Catalog or explore the REST API. The last part of this page we'll discuss now are the related lists. You can think of these 7 related lists as the footprint this incident table has within the system. These related lists show where the incident table or references to this table show up in other parts of the system. There are record producers, ACLs, modules, mobile modules, labels and descendants, and database indexes. Most of these are automatically handled for you and do not need to be modified, but are shown here for convenience. Record producers relate to the service catalog. ACLs define certain access controls to records in this table, which we'll discuss in the next section. And the modules are all incident modules throughout all applications within ServiceNow. We will not cover the other related lists in this course. However, if you are curious about them, I encourage you to take a look at the ServiceNow documentation.